And I was waiting for Drake to come around the corner. I saw him leave out of that room, and I was like, he's gonna be barreling around any second now. And sure enough, he did with the right weapon, the shotgun, and that's going to keep gHs alive for just a little bit longer. I'm following Fack right now. It looks like he's with his 3 other teammates. They're going to see a rail come out from that main room, and they're going to try to make their way in, bounced by some rockets, but just a little bit of splash damage. They are going to go ahead and press in, and it's not going to work out for them right there. They
too aggressive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they got to kind of take a risk, but when you've got 6 rounds that you got to make up, that's going to be really tough. And Reebok's going to get a lot of damage there with the LG. I think they could pretty much call this one in the bag.
Yeah. Well, it seemed to me that you know, even in that last play when I switched over to the final survivor, I mean, he was really out in the open. He wasn't using cover or corner to his advantage. And I think that that type of gaming style is something that they're going to need to fix, because p4f definitely put him away. Final score of 10-4. And they DC'd before I got a chance to check out the stats. I will point out 4 deaths and 14 frags for demo. So, yeah, that was a great pair of matches, though. I really enjoyed it. And, guys, remember, this is just the quarterfinals. We're going to try to continue to cover the remainder of the tournament. We're going to do what we can to stream it out live to you. Wheat, do you have any thoughts about this? Maybe a chance to join us for the grand finals when we get around to it?
Yeah, sure. You know, I wanna definitely get in there and you know, start doing a little bit more casting. You know, I've got a lot of shows going on in the background, but a little bit of free time opening up here, and you know, I love doing QuakeCon and just trying to get involved in some of the action. There's a few other leagues that I kind of got my eye on, but yeah, for sure, I think we'll be keeping in touch and keep on bringing that Quake action to the fans at home. So thanks everyone who tuned in, and congrats to the winners tonight, and thanks to all the players. Really appreciate them like moving their game up a little bit too. That was awesome. I love it when admins and the players are totally willing to work with the broadcasters. It makes our job even easier, and make sure, you know, we had like a solid hour and a half of action, and that's great. So thank you to the players and the admins for that.
Indeed. Jahar, do you have any final words here? I won't be able to get the players in for an interview this time, but I know that as we aim towards the semis and the finals, we will be trying to bring players in so we can get that sort of full experience. But Jahar, any final words before we hop off tonight?
Well, in the world of dealing with the admins of tournaments and the various levels of organization they're out, I really have to say I appreciate these guys for being as giving us a lot of forewarning. I know that there were a lot of confusions as far as the language barriers go, but yeah, big kudos for organizing this, and it really makes me want to cover the finals, especially when we get as good communication like this. So it's really encouraging, makes me kind of hyped up to see it, and really this is some of the best Clan Arena I saw for a while. When I first thought about this, I'm like, okay, there's going to be a lot of spam, but spam there was, but it was good stuff, good matches. And Wheat, thank you for being here, and hopefully we can get together for some of the final matches.
Indeed.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. You guys have been listening to Grease Gospin and Jahar and djWHEAT. Quake Live TV is the place to be when you want to see even more Quake Live action. We're going to be bringing you tomorrow night, guys. We have, I believe we're going to be doing our usual Quake Night Team Deathmatch 2v2. And I'll be in touch with Sir Dark to find out which teams we're going to be covering. But keep your eyes peeled, www.quake-live.tv. You can also follow us on Twitter. That's QuakeLive_TV. And, of course, about 6 days after we cover a match, we try to get the high-quality VODs up. And that includes our YouTube channel, which is the Quake Live TV. So definitely follow us and watch us, and we will do what we can to bring you even more Quake Live action. So on that note, I think we'll sign off. Thank you one more time, djWHEAT. It's been a pleasure.
Welcome. Don't forget, check out Live on 3 and EG on djWHEAT.tv, and keep supporting these guys and everyone who's you know, working to keep on building this community, and you know, keep on providing lots of great matches and players tournaments and all that great stuff. So it's awesome. It's good working with you guys. I appreciate it.
Right on. All right, guys. Have yourselves a good evening. More Quake Live coming at you tomorrow night. All right, so Wheat, I really enjoyed your guests on Live on 3 today, man. It's great to hear from Jared from AGP. And, of course, we had Wally on there.
Yeah,
Very
who
cool.
was also a great little interview. I was, you know, I've definitely hung out with him and been to various events with him, but it's the first time I've ever really interviewed him outside of maybe a win at a tournament. And he was, you know, he was a great guy, and I love to have him say things like, you know, people don't necessarily give them credit or realize how difficult it is to, you know, choose a team and have that right chemistry and that, you know, that synergy to be able to be a successful team that can win these worldwide global events. And, you know, I just think it's so fantastic when fans get an opportunity to hear that directly from the players, because it really is, it really is tough. And,
well, and it felt a little bit like, kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at how some of those decisions are made and how, I mean, it's got to be really difficult for someone who's been playing so long, you know, for him to, you know, kind of say, you know, sorry to the people that were cut, but then hello to the new talent.
Right.
I thought that was really cool to hear from his lips.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, when you're shaping a team like that, you have to consider that these guys, you know, they travel overseas together. They stay in hotels for, you know, long stretches of time together. So it's like really hard to not become friends with your teammates. You know, when you're doing that much activity, it's tough to do that. But, you know, some people don't realize that a lot of times you have to separate that. And it can be very difficult. It's not easy. You know, it's no different than if you, like, hired your best friend at the job and then they weren't doing the job that you know people needed to get done, and what do you got to do? You know, you got to fire your buddy. I mean, no one really likes that, but it's kind of like that. There are those you know situations where they're looking out for the team as number one. And sometimes you got to put those things aside. But anyway, it was a great little interview. And then, of course, having Jared on, I'm sure we're going to be talking with Jared some more as things develop and see how, you know, everything sort of turns out. I do want to say that in a couple of weeks, we're going to be having, you know, League of Legends is launching. And if you're not sure what League of Legends is, of course, Dota is a very famous Warcraft 3 custom map that has kind of spawned off a new genre of gaming. Heroes of New Earth and League of Legends both coming out here very soon, and we're gonna have one of the developers of the game on, you know, because what's interesting about that is they're a little bit like id with Quake Live. They know that they have a game that has a competitive foundation. At the same time, they really want to open it up to people who just enjoy playing that game type casually. And so they have like 2 jobs to do, and I think it's very interesting. I love supporting all of the competitive gaming communities and whatnot. So you know, I think this will be I think it'll be a really good interview. And we'll shut up now. It looks like they're getting started.
Well, they're just doing that one-on-one situation to decide who tosses the map here. So nothing too exciting just yet. But I wanted to ask you something. Did you expect the sort of, I don't know, back here raising from the community about AGP? Well, I think Scoots kind of set it off with his comments about GGL, and I do agree with Scoots about the GGL portion of it, sort of sanctioning GGL.
Let me actually. There's one thing I want to say about that I didn't get a chance to say on the show, just because we kind of ran out of time. Yeah. You know, a lot of people, even though GGL is GGL, there's one thing that GGL has that, you know, is not necessarily like a big part of the corporate face that is GGL. And that is some fucking fantastic admins. Like, they have some of the best admins I've worked with for years, you know, like Don King kind of heading things up. I mean, I cannot tell you how many games I have personally casted for Don King. And, you know, he legitimately cares about all these leagues and all these games and making those tough decisions. And he's built a very nice team. And I know that Jared is like working with those guys and not necessarily you know, the individuals that have sort of made decisions in the past that maybe were not that beneficial for gaming. So, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of bittersweet, because I do think that they have some fairly reasonable technology, but at the same time, like, yeah, they have sort of gotten a little bit